So here we go. It's nearly Christmas, as you can see by my doorbell and lights that aren't on quite yet. But welcome to the channel, the Discovery 3 that I've got here. It's popped up in a couple of other bits of video content that I've got going on. If you happen to live in and around the Heanor area of Derbyshire, then please feel free to pop in and go and see Melissa at PetFit or Steve at Lockfit, because this used to be their vehicle and they kindly donated it to me. They didn't really. I bought it off them for a decent enough price. But I bought this Discovery 3, so this video is just about introducing the car, really. I bought it from them in September, end of August, beginning of September. The idea was that it cost them a lot of money. It's a Discovery. I'm well aware they cost everyone a lot of money. I loved the idea of it. It had a good spec on it. As you can see, it's black. It's normally black rather than the dirty grey. It was black. It's got someone's tinted the windows. Not necessarily brilliantly on the back. It's got cream leather interior. It's an HSE spec car, so I just loved the look of it. I've got the two little people that live with me some of the time, and it's ideal for us just carting everything around and dumping things around. As the weather's turned particularly dreadful recently, couldn't be happier to be in this thing. That said, it has got 147 and something thousand miles on it. It is a 2009, and they are notoriously commonly, or not commonly, they're notorious for breaking down on a regular basis. So I did kind of buy it on that lower end of money. It was just slightly above what you get for we buy any car money. I bought it on the basis that if it all goes terribly wrong, I can chuck it back on eBay and make most of my money back, if not all of the money back. But touch wood, since then, it hasn't been too bad. It hasn't been. There are issues wrong with it, or there are things wrong with it. So I'll just give a bit of a walk round and talk about it. So things that are wrong with it. First of all, bodywork wise, there is a lovely, I think Melissa managed to drive it into the wall. So that bit of trim, it does click on. It needs probably some more clips, but it's cracked and splintered there. So not necessarily essential for me to do now. Down there as well on the sort of side skirt, there's a bit of sort of peeling. There might even be a bit of the protective tape on it. Who knows? That's peeling off. There are sort of scratches around it, dints around it. The back end, there's a bit down there that's dinted. There is a scrape along there, a scrape there. There's dents on the side skirts. The wheels are a bit knackered. But yeah, it's not too bad. 147,000 miles, you're not necessarily going to get a mint bodywork, and if you do, you're going to pay good money for it. So I wasn't concerned by those. Then from the engine perspective, it drives, pulls straight. When I first got it, there's no engine warning lights on it at all, which is good. The suspension, the air suspension works, goes up and down. The tyres, I noticed on the rear, one of the outside edges was not so good. So I went and had the car tracked. It was 8mm out in the front. Now this front corner, before I'd bought the vehicle, they'd had the wheel bearing replaced, had the suspension arm, I think, replaced as well. So there's a few bits that were done on that. And again, it's similar to the Jaguar. On the rear of the Jaguar, it's got a bolt that you turn to adjust the camber. So I suspected that when they put the new bits on there, the garage just chucked them on and didn't track it, which must have been the case because it was 8mm out in the front, 2mm out in the back. But as a result of doing that, when the garage had it, they said the tyres weren't great. So I've added these. I think they're called Thong. The Range Rover Sport alloys from the newer shape Range Rover. I actually think they're quite suited. But again, feel free to tell me. What do you reckon to them on there? Now they are bigger. They're 19-inch originally. They're 20-inch with the same profile of tyre, or same 50 profile tyres, and they're 50 profile before. So they're slightly bigger rolling circumference than before, but looking at the speedo compared to the Google Maps GPS speed, they're actually very similar. So before it was the speedo would read slightly over, and now it's reading about the same as Google Maps. So there is going to be a slight difference, but it's negligible. Like I say, 250 quid I paid for the wheels and tyres, which each tyre on this, if you're buying a decent brand, is looking at 120, 150 for a tyre. So they'll do for now. The other thing is, again, if I've got outside wear on that tyre, the last thing I want to do is spend like 150 quid on a tyre each corner, because I'll be doing pairs, so 300 quid on tyres, then find out that rear corner is still balding off on the outside, then I don't want to go and spend another load of money on it. Right, what else is wrong with it? Externally, I think that's about it. A small chip in the windscreen. or external, internal. So I found out as well, with this really crappy weather, only half of the windscreen clears when the ice hits it. So what we're really hoping to do is for the little tiny chip to crack, and then we can get an insurance claim, get the windscreen placed, hopefully. Yeah, right, so interior wise, all of the electronics seem to work, the folding mirrors seem to work. One of the seats, when you do the adjustment to like flip it forward to get into the rear, one of those doesn't work properly. The other one does, so not too sure why. The rear seats are all okay. There's a few sort of clips aren't quite working properly, but it is what it is. Right, what isn't working though? Heated seats, they don't work. In the front, I think both rear ones work because HSE has got rear heated seats. I think both of the rears work, both of the fronts don't. So I bought myself a multimeter. That's something I'm going to play with. Never used one before. My experience of using a multimeter when I was in my early 20s was I did something with it and it just went bang. So I'm guessing I'm not qualified to use a multimeter yet. So YouTube, you're going to help me learn. I'll figure out how to use a multimeter, which will be good. What else isn't working with it? Right. Two things. I'm going to make separate videos for this and ask for help because someone out there might already know. Two things that are a bit of a concern. I've got it's like a bit of a juddery sound. Feeling. Bird poo, I think. Right. Anyway, so I've got two things that happen when you're driving along at certain speeds. The car just like vibrates and judders. It feels like it's transmission related. So I asked them when they did the tracking just to check and see if there's any suspension components that are knackered, because I thought if there's a ball joint or a wishbone or something that's not quite right, then that'll be. But they said there's nothing wrong with it at all. So my other theory on it, and again this is literally just a guess, is that it's the gearbox oil that needs to be sorted. But yeah, I'll post about that separately because it might be that. When you put it into sport mode, it seems to be okay. Now I'm starting to shake a little bit because I'm getting a bit colder, and I'm using this nice. I'm using a lovely. What do you call it? Selfie stick, because they're really fashionable. Use my selfie stick. So have I got my keys? No. I was like, I could jump inside and show you inside as well, but actually, let's go inside and get them anyway. So that juddering happens, and also we've got another problem on the acceleration. That's it. I know I'll get there. That's my house. So on the inside, when you accelerate, I've got a bit, 3 minutes. So when you go inside, you put your foot on the accelerator, and you put your foot on the accelerator. There you go. There's inside the vehicle. When you put your foot down, it goes and sort of hesitates slightly as you're putting forward. I'm guessing the engine management lights come on, and I've scanned it, and it looks like it could be EGR valves. So I'm fully aware that they go quite regularly on this vehicle. So if that is the case, then that will be a bit of a ball ache. About 300 quid worth of valves, but I'll take that job on. It'll take me a long time to do it, looking at the videos. But I'm going to sort of suspicious. I'm going to check those out and find out if it is those that are causing the problem. But I need to be sure before I spend the money. Anyway, that's a discovery. I hope you enjoy it. See you in a bit.